Okay, so the magic of podcasting here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show number 82A now. Yeah, we had some volume issues in 82, but now we're moving into 82A. I did want to show you my coffee mug and my t-shirt. Mm. Oh, wow. Coffee's good. Jaguars victory even better than the coffee. The Jacksonville Jaguars win the game. Man, I love that Jack's t-shirt that I've got on. Jacksonville Jaguars 34, the Denver Broncos 20 final score on Sunday, December the 21st of 2025. The Jacksonville Jaguars incredibly 11-4 and still in first place in the AFC South Division. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Episode show number 82A. Had some volume issues. The early part of the podcast was okay, and then I think we lost the microphone. And I'm still kind of learning the do's and don'ts of doing a podcast after doing terrestrial radio, for over 25 years. Back in the day with terrestrial radio, you're using a transmitter. Now with podcasting, you're basically using the internet, of course. And we appreciate you guys tuning into the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I'm going to continue to work on this thing, try to get better at podcasting here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. And again, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Episode show number 82A. Thank you for being here. And the Jaguars won. The Jaguars won their game. Buffalo Bills won their game over Cleveland by 3 points. We checked some NFL scores on the last podcast, but we didn't get everything in that we were trying to get in. We do want to talk about some stats in this football game. Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show number 82A. What was the key thing? Trevor Lawrence. Very good performance. If you graded the last 3 games by Trevor Lawrence, it was probably good, great against the New York Jets, and against Denver, I'd say very good to almost great. Trevor had, nearly a perfect game? I mean, 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He ran for a touchdown. Very good, might be conservative, but Trevor had a good day. A very good day. Trevor Lawrence, 23 of 36, 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions, had 279 yards passing. The guy that we told people before the season started, if you go back and check some of our older podcasts from before the season started, I know we mentioned wide receiver Parker Washington, who's had a couple of injury issues, but he's back playing. It's a rough and tumble game. I think Parker got banged up in this one too. I believe he's okay. But he had 6 receptions, 145 yards, and a touchdown catch too. Who got the touchdown catches? Well, Travis Etienne caught a little swing or screen pass on the left side, walked into the end zone for a touchdown. Brenton Strange, a tight end for the Jaguars, who continues to get better and better. And the thing about Brenton Strange, he's really improving his offensive game and catching the football. He'll drop one now and then, like most of us do, or most players do. But he caught a nice touchdown nice pass from Trevor Lawrence, and this is a guy developing. What we like about the tight end, Brenton Strange, a couple of things we really like. He's back playing. He's not injured. He missed a good many games early in the year. But not only can this guy catch the football, but we all know that he may be a better blocker than even a receiver of the football. So this is a guy that's developing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, tight end Brenton Strange, into a complete tight end, blocking and catching the football. I'm watching some highlights now, as we do this podcast. I'm watching the pass to, oh man, what a little fake by Parker Washington. He ran that ball on this reception inside the 20, inside the 15, kept going. I think the Broncos tackled him around the 10-yard line, and then I think ETN caught the touchdown pass right after that on a little swing pass out to the left side, and ETN walked into the end zone for the touchdown. I think Parker Washington's catch went for like over 60 yards on the play before. So Parker Washington had a big day, 6 receptions, 145 yards, and a touchdown catch. In this game, ETN had a touchdown catch, obviously, and Brenton Strange, a tight end, had a touchdown catch. So Trevor had 3 touchdown passes, and he also ran for a touchdown. So those are some of the key stats in the football game. A guy that I'm really starting to like on the Jags defensive line, B.J. Green, had a sack in this game. Trayvon Walker almost had a sack, according to John Gaylor. And I like this about Trayvon Walker. He's getting some tackles for losses, going up the middle, showing his power and strength, and getting some TFLs, some tackles for losses. And he had another one. I think he's had tackles for losses in 3 out of the last 4 games, I believe. Boyd Alakun, the Jaguars linebacker extraordinaire, with 11 tackles in this football game. And now a stat that I really didn't bring up in episode show number 82, that I'll bring up in episode show number 82A. And we're continuing to salute Jimmy Smith, former wide receiver of the Jaguars, who should eventually get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, like Fred Taylor should, Tom Coughlin should. Tony Baselli is the only former Jaguars player who has gotten into the Hall of Fame. Back, I believe Tony Baselli got in the 2022 class, and he should have got in probably 2 years earlier. But we're not going to cry over spilt milk. Tony Baselli is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But there's some other guys that need to. Number 82, Jimmy Smith. We're saluting Jimmy Smith on episode show number 82A. Fred Taylor should have gotten in, has not gotten in yet. And Tom Coughlin definitely deserves to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame as well. A stat I want to bring up from the Jaguars Denver win in Denver. This is a key stat, and I'm not sure this is being pointed out enough. After all, I didn't mention it in the last podcast in 82, but I'll mention it in 82A. The penalties in the game. I had to do a double take on this, but this is part of the reason why the Jaguars are winning, or at least won this game. This is a big help. I mean, Denver had 6 penalties for 61 yards in this game, and that's not really that bad for a team, 6 penalties for 61 yards. But listen to this. The Jaguars, 2 penalties for 20 yards. So this means the Jaguars are starting to clean up the penalties and the mistakes. There was one of those penalties was it illegal roughness on one of the DBs? I believe it was called on a guy I really like, Antonio Johnson. What's Antonio? Third-year guy out of Texas A&M, was becoming really a great defensive back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Antonio Johnson. I love the Jags DBs. Antonio Johnson, Buster Brown, Montero Brown had a great game. And Jarius Jones had a key apple turnover interception late in the football game to kind of preserve a 2-touchdown win for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars 34 and the Denver Broncos 20. Final score on Sunday, December the 21st of 2025. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now incredibly 11-4 and still in first place in the AFC South Division. Jacksonville Icemen in the East Coast Hockey League, 13-13. They, a couple of days ago, defeated the Atlanta Gladiators up in Duluth, up in North Georgia. Outskated the Atlanta Gladiators, I believe it was 3-2 in that game. And they've got the Orlando Solar Bears coming up at home the day after Christmas on December the 26th. But the Icemen are actually now 14-13. Orlando at Jacksonville, 7 o'clock p.m. on this Friday night, December the 26th of 2025. Jaguars football here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. ETN had a tough 50 yards. He needs to be re-signed. He also caught that swing pass for a touchdown. ETN needs to be re-signed for at least a 2-year extension, maybe 3 years. Probably will get the deal done, I'm thinking. But, man, he's had a really good year. This might be the best year of his young career in the NFL here in 2025. Jaguars are now 11-4. ETN's a big part of that. Now Trevor Lawrence is as well. The defensive backs, can't say enough about these guys. Monteric Brown, Jarius Jones, Antonio Johnson, and the other defensive backs as well. All of them have played, extremely, extremely well most of this year. Even what's really nice is the DBs played really well in this game, even there was not a tremendous pass rush, particularly early in the game. I do know that B.J. Green got a sack in this game. Trayvon Walker almost got a sack. John Gaylor told me, and I may have missed the play, but John Gaylor told me that Trayvon Walker had a tackle for a loss. And Trayvon has done that about 3 out of the last 4 games where he's had a really good tackle, a tackle for losses in at least 3 of the last 4 games. 55 degrees here in Jacksonville. We hit a low of 48 earlier this morning. We're brought to you by Saucer Realty and Capital for your real estate needs in North Florida. Check out our homepage and our North Florida weather. You'll find a link for Saucer Realty and Capital on our North Florida weather information. High temperatures in Jacksonville around 69, lows late tonight, upper 40s to lower 50s. Right now it's about 55 degrees at about 7:20 or so in the morning. So the Jaguars win. Man, the Jags are looking tremendously good right now. Let's take a look at college football, shall we? Man, college football, the college football playoff was going on over the weekend. Ole Miss showed why a lot of people thought they were going to easily beat Tulane, and they did. Coach John Summerall, now he can dive into the Florida job. The Tulane season is over, and now the Florida Gators have the coach, John Summerall, the new coach at Florida, has a big challenge on his hands. Florida was 4-8 last year with a record of 2-6 in the SEC. And keep in mind, the SEC now, you don't just play 8 conference games. Next year, you're going to start playing 9 conference games in the SEC. College football playoff, 8 teams left now. Ole Miss eliminated Tulane. Ole Miss 41, Tulane 10. Alabama 34, Oklahoma 24. Oregon kind of clamped down on James Madison. Oregon 51, James Madison 34. Then the game that may have surprised me the most was Miami of Florida and Texas A&M playing in one of those games like old school. Like an old school Ivy League game or an old school Michigan-Ohio State game when they had low-scoring games, defense, 3 yards and a cloud of dust. But are these defenses this good? Miami of Florida 10, Texas A&M 3 in a first-round college football playoff game. Thus, Texas A&M is eliminated. The team that started out 11-0 lost to Texas, and now they've lost their college football playoff game to Miami of Florida. Miami of Florida 10, Texas A&M 3. The teams that got the byes, but will have to play in the second round now: Indiana, champions of the Big Ten; Georgia, champions of the SEC; Texas Tech, champions of the Big 12; and Ohio State, a real strong 12-1 runner-up in the Big Ten to Indiana. I mean, after all, that Big Ten championship game was Indiana 13, Ohio State 10. Low-scoring, old-school game in that one, in which Indiana has had a strong offense the last year under second-year coach Cignetti. But now their defense is playing well, too. So you got some big second-round games coming up. Ole Miss will play Georgia. In a second-round game, Indiana, I believe, plays Alabama. Texas Tech and Ohio State will play second-round games. And again, the other teams that will be moving into the second round include Miami of Florida and the Oregon Ducks. So that's kind of the college football situation now. Taking a look at some high school stuff. Want to congratulate teams on winning the state championships throughout North Florida, Central Florida, South Georgia, Western Georgia. Let's take a look at that as well. This is the Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show number 82A. And high school football state championship scores for North Florida, Central Florida, South and Western Georgia are up on our website at bigjreport.com on the homepage. Congratulations to Reigns, winning a state championship from right here in Jacksonville, Florida. They beat Miami Northwestern by 1 point, 23-22. Lake Mary had to come from behind in Central Florida and defeat Vero Beach 28-27. Vero Beach led that game at one time 27-11. Lake Mary also scored late in the game on kind of a Doug Flutie-like long pass. The receiver for Lake Mary caught the ball around the 3-yard line and had to break a tackle to get into the end zone. And Lake Mary beat Vero Beach. Lake Mary 28, Vero Beach 27. So congratulations to Reigns from Jacksonville, Lake Mary from Central Florida. Carver up in Georgia won a state championship, won their game 24-7. And Worth County from up around the Sylvester, Georgia area, I believe Worth County won a state championship as well. So we congratulate Reigns, Lake Mary, Carver, Worth County up in Georgia, and Carver up in Georgia on winning state championships. And we know there were other teams and schools that won state championships as well. But we do want to congratulate Reigns, Lake Mary, Carver up in Georgia, and Worth County up in Georgia as well. So tremendous seasons for these schools. I know Carver went 15-0 and won that state championship. So we appreciate you guys being here, right here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We'll take a look at concerts in the area too. We missed some of this stuff on 82. We had an audio issue that we're having to correct now. Go back and finish up with some of the stuff we had talked about earlier. Concerts in North Florida and surrounding areas. Three Dog Night was in Columbus, Georgia, much earlier this month. I believe it was around December the 4th. That show was up in Columbus. Three Dog Night has been playing all over Georgia and Florida. And the show in Orange Park is now in the books. Three Dog Night did perform in Orange Park, Florida last night. In fact, as we record this podcast on Monday morning, December the 22nd, Three Dog Night performed in Orange Park, Florida on December the 21st of 2025 at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Thrasher Horn Center in Orange Park, Florida, in the Northeast Florida area. Also, Barry Manilow. When I saw this show, I said, man, Barry Manilow still singing, still performing. I believe he's like 82 years old now. Barry Manilow will be performing at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena here in Jacksonville, Florida on Monday evening, January the 12th of 2026 at 7 o'clock p.m. Also, JC, I don't know if you remember Judy Collins from years ago. Singer Judy Collins from Both Sides Now fame. That was her big song called Both Sides Now. Singer Judy Collins from Both Sides Now fame will be in concert on Wednesday night, January the 14th of 2026 at 8 o'clock p.m. at the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Also, tickets on sale for the Beach Boys in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida at the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall. Beach Boys will be there on January the 26th of 2026. Also, Carla Bonoff, her big song was a song called Personally, going back to, I believe, the early to mid 1980s. Carla Bonoff performing on Saturday, February the 7th of 2026 at 8 o'clock p.m. That's Carla Bonoff at the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Also, here's another good one, Christopher Cross 2026. Christopher Cross performing on Thursday night, March the 5th of 2026 at 8 o'clock p.m. at the Florida Theater in downtown Jacksonville, Florida. Christopher Cross, probably best known for his early work, a song called Ride Like the Wind, Sailing. He did the theme of the movie Arthur's theme was a Christopher Cross song as well. So again, Christopher Cross 2026, Christopher Cross performing on Thursday night, March the 5th of 2026 at 8 o'clock p.m. at the Florida Theater in downtown Jacksonville, Florida. Also, Foreigner with Lou Graham and Night Ranger at the St. Augustine Amphitheater in St. Augustine, Florida on Friday night, April the 17th of 2026 at 7:30 p.m. And here's a big one, maybe the final tour. That's what it's kind of, this is what it's kind of insinuating here. Here's a big one, Journey, the Final Frontier Tour. The Final Frontier Tour with Journey. Journey performing on Saturday, May 16th, 2026. A lot of great songs. Journey performing on Saturday, May the 16th of 2026 at 7:30 p.m. at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena right here in Jacksonville, Florida. So again, that is obviously a look at some concerts around North Florida. If you want to get updates on concerts, go to bigjreport.com and check our Neighbors 2 section. Checking the NFL, New England Patriots are 12-2. The New England Patriots are 12-3. Buffalo Bills are 11-4. Miami Dolphins 6-9, New York Jets 3-12 in the AFC Eastern Division. So the Patriots got a 1-game lead over the Bills. Both of these teams are going to be in the playoffs. New England may be the division winner, but Buffalo will at least get a wild card with a very, very, very good record right now for the Buffalo Bills at 11-4. Some scores across the NFL. New England Patriots 28, Baltimore Ravens 24. That game may have eliminated the Ravens, perhaps from the playoffs. New Orleans Saints 29, New York Jets 6, Minnesota Vikings 16, New York Giants 13. Kansas City's out of the playoffs. They're 6-9. Their quarterback got hurt last week. Patrick Mahomes is out for the year, I believe, with an ACL injury. Tennessee Titans picked up their third win of the year. Tennessee Titans 26 and the Kansas City Chiefs 9. The Jaguars also beat the Kansas City Chiefs much earlier in the season. On Sunday, the Cincinnati Bengals 45, the Miami Dolphins 21. The Atlanta Falcons came from behind to defeat the Arizona Cardinals 26-19. Our Jacksonville Jaguars 34, the Denver Broncos 20. Pittsburgh all of a sudden is on a little bit of a winning streak. Pittsburgh beat Detroit. Pittsburgh beat Detroit 29. Pittsburgh Steelers 29, Detroit Lions 24. And you take a look at the standings in the AFC North. Pittsburgh now 9-6. Baltimore 7-8. So Pittsburgh's got a 2-game lead with 2 games left to play. Cincinnati is out of it at 5-10, and the Cleveland Browns are out of it at 3-12. The Cleveland Browns bring up the rear in the AFC North Division. So big win for Pittsburgh, 29-24 over the Detroit Lions on Sunday, December the 21st. Some other scores: Houston staying within reach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Houston is still 1 game back. The Houston Texans are playing well, a good defense, and they've got a 7-game winning streak, while the Jacksonville Jaguars have a 6-game winning streak. Houston 23, the Las Vegas Raiders 21. New England beat Baltimore. It was New England 28, Baltimore Ravens 24. Checking some more scores. Again, that was the New England Patriots 28, Baltimore 24. Again, the Houston Texans 23, Las Vegas Raiders 21. Pittsburgh Steelers 29, Detroit Lions 24, Jacksonville Jaguars 34, Denver Broncos 20. Atlanta came from behind to defeat the Arizona Cardinals. The Atlanta Falcons 26, Arizona Cardinals 19. Cincinnati Bengals 45, Miami Dolphins 21. Miami looks good at times, and at times they don't. And they didn't look good on Sunday, December the 21st. Cincinnati Bengals 45, the Miami Dolphins 21. Tennessee 26, Kansas City Chiefs 9. Minnesota beat the Giants. Minnesota 16, the New York Giants 13. Again, New Orleans 29, the New York Jets 6. That final score. LA Chargers basically eliminated the Cowboys from the playoffs, I believe now. LA Chargers, they're just like one game behind Denver now. LA Chargers 34, the Dallas Cowboys 17. Who is coaching the Chargers? Jim Harbaugh. Who's coaching the Broncos? Sean Payton. And then you got a couple of rookie coaches, Liam Cohen and Ben Johnson with the Chicago Bears, and they both got their teams 11-4. Buffalo Bills look like they're obviously they still got a shot at winning the division in the AFC East, but they look like a very strong wild card, at least right now. Buffalo Bills 23, the Cleveland Browns 20. Buffalo Bills 23, Cleveland Browns 20. Carolina Panthers now leading their division by a game. Carolina Panthers 23, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20. Chicago Bears 22, the Green Bay Packers 16. And that was a huge football game, right? Chicago Bears, this game was played on Saturday, actually, December the 20th. Chicago Bears 22, Green Bay Packers 16. Chicago leads their division with a record of 11-4. Green Bay is 9-5-1, a couple of games back. And it looks like Chicago is more than likely going to win that division now. Chicago Bears 22, the Green Bay Packers 16. That game was played on Saturday. On Saturday, December the 20th. So the Chicago Bears keep winning. Bears are 11-4. The Jaguars are 11-4. Some other scores. Philadelphia won on Saturday. Philadelphia Eagles, Big Bills, who listens to our podcast. Big Bills, Philadelphia Eagles beat Washington 29-18. Philadelphia Eagles 29, Washington Commanders 18. I saw Tank Bigsby, a former Jacksonville Jaguars running back, score a touchdown in this game. Saquon Barkley had a big run on that same drive. So they got two running backs playing very, very well with the Philadelphia Eagles. And then going back to Thursday night, by the way, the Philadelphia win over Washington, that was a Saturday game on Saturday, December the 20th, right? So Philadelphia won 29-18 over Washington. There were about 3 ejections late in that game. I mean, there were some players throwing some melees late in that game. The Washington Commanders got really mad during that game with the Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles win that thing. Philadelphia Eagles 29, Washington Commanders 18, the final score. And then going back to last Thursday night, the Seattle Seahawks won really an exciting game, a high-scoring game. Seattle Seahawks 38, the LA Rams 37. And that game was played actually last Thursday. Exciting football game last Thursday back on December the 18th. The Seattle Seahawks 38, the Los Angeles Rams 37. You take a look at that division in the NFC, and the Seattle Seahawks are in first place with a record of 12-3. They also beat the Jacksonville Jaguars much earlier in the season. The LA Rams, who beat the Jaguars too. The LA Rams are 11-4, one game back behind Seattle. San Francisco 49ers looks like they're going to make the playoffs too. San Francisco is 10-4. Arizona's not going to make the playoffs. They pull up the rear in the NFC Western Division with a record of 3-12. They lost to the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons had to come from behind to defeat the Arizona Cardinals. So that's some of what's going on in the National Football League. I can pull a big picture up on the standings. We've talked about some of the standings. New England is 12-3. Buffalo's 11-4 in the AFC East. Those are your contenders. In the AFC North, Pittsburgh is going to win that division. Does not appear there'll be a wild card coming from that division. Baltimore's 7-8. They're still 2 games behind Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 9-6. The Ravens are 7-8. Cincinnati Bengals 5-10. The Brownies, Cleveland Browns 3-12. AFC South, Jacksonville Jaguars 11-4. Houston Texans still just 1 game back. Houston Texans are 10-5. Jacksonville Jaguars are 11-4. Jaguars have 2 games left. The Jags play the Colts and the Titans their final 2 games. So that's interesting. The Colts, they still have hopes of making a wild card. The Colts are 2 games behind Jacksonville. And, I guess they're still not mathematically out of the division race, but they're 2 games behind Jacksonville, 1 game behind Houston. The Colts, Indianapolis Colts are 8-6. Still have a shot of making a playoff spot. Denver Broncos, 12-3. They're still probably going to win their division. The LA Chargers are 1 game back at 11-4. Kansas City's out of it now for this year at 6-9. Their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, got hurt last week. I believe he has an ACL injury. He's done for the year. Las Vegas Raiders are 2-13. One of the worst teams in the NFL. Philadelphia Eagles lead the NFC East. They're going to win the NFC East. They have a 10-5 record. Dallas Cowboys have now been eliminated from playoff contention, I understand. They are 6-8-1. Washington Commanders are 4-11 after having a real good year last year. They've struggled this year mightily in 2025. The Giants, you have to put them up there with the Raiders. The Giants are 2-13, one of the weaker teams in the NFL right now. NFC North, Chicago Bears 11-4. They lead the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are in second place, probably a wild card. The Green Bay Packers 9-5-1. Detroit Lions still hanging in there at 8-7, but not having as good a year as they had last year. NFC South, Carolina Panthers actually now lead this division. Carolina Panthers are 8-7. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 7-8, followed by the Falcons at 6-9, and the Saints are 5-10. And probably only one team in this division makes the playoffs. The Carolina Panthers 8-7. They're 1 game ahead of the Bucs, who are 7-8. And the Falcons are 2 games back at 6-9. NFC Western Division, Seattle Seahawks are 12-3. LA Rams are going to make the playoffs too. They're 11-4. And I believe San Francisco has clinched a playoff spot at 10-4. And Arizona will not be going to the playoffs. They are 3-12. So that's a complete look at the NFL standings here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Man, we've checked concerts, NFL standings, Jaguars with a huge win. Want to congratulate the high school football state championship teams, Rains, Lake Mary, Carver up in Georgia, and Worth County up in Georgia. And there's other schools too. Check out our website at bigjreport.com. Scroll the homepage. You'll find Jaguars scores and info, followed by on the homepage high school football scores, from across North Florida, South and Western Georgia, that pocket of Southeast Alabama, and Central Florida. Check out the website at bigjreport.com. Scroll our homepage, and we've got 24/7 North Florida weather on there as well. So, and we appreciate you tuning in to the Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show number 82. This is actually episode show number 82A. And we want to thank our sponsors of the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We want to thank the MadMaxMix.weebly.com. Check out Mad Max's show on Wednesday nights. Max will have his first show of the new year of 2026 on Wednesday, I believe July the 7th, 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock Eastern Time with the MadMaxMix.weebly.com. JC's show the very next night on Thursday night, every Thursday night. And JC's getting ready to come back on after the holidays with his first show in January after the holidays. Check him out on Thursday nights live from the pub with JC at LakeUFallahits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. And you'll find links for these shows in the Neighbors 2 section. There's also an article about Mad Max in the Outside the Box section, and a link for Max's show in the Outside the Box section and in the Neighbors 2 section as well. This is going to be episode show number 82A of the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I appreciate you guys tuning in very, very much. I really do. I'm Scott, your host for the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We've been eloquently produced by our executive producer, JC, also by Alex Nunnery, and we want to thank, special thanks to our contributor and correspondent, John Gaylor, for everything. John and I had some great messaging and chats during the game, and we both kind of assessed that the Jaguars are a team that is maturing. It was a very mature win out in Denver. Jaguars with a incredible, it was an incredible 34-20 win for the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? So not bad at all. I get the score back up on our screen. The Jacksonville Jaguars 34, the Denver Broncos 20, the final score on Sunday, December the 21st of 2025. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now incredibly 11-4 and still in first place in the AFC South Division. That's going to do it for the Teal Shirt Report podcast. You guys have a great day. This has been episode show number 82A of the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I am your host. Scott, for the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Thank you for listening. Jags are 11-4, man. How about a Duval? This has been the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I'm your host, Scott, and I'm out. Hey, you guys have a great day. Thank you for listening and watching.